walk down this path long enough, you get to a point where you get to a cliff that's 30 feet down and 10 feet to the other side, and he's telling you to jump. And you're like, no, this this is stupid. I can't do this. And he's, well, have faith. I'm like, faith's what got me to the top of the cliff. Okay. I don't.
Hope is faith on steroids. Faith says, okay, I believe it. But hope says, no, it's as good as done, and I'm counting on it. And the hope that we have in heaven, the hope that these promises are true, the hope, well, my faith says I believe it, but then that hope carries me on. Well, that hope and that trust are kind of the same thing, is that confident expectation that all these promises, everything he says he's going to do, then I'm going to live my life that way. Not even worrying about the consequences, because what consequences?
Yeah. Let me find my. John 6 was your last sermon, right?
Yes, it was.
We didn't get to talk about that last time, really. I don't think so. We got a little sidetracked last time on the. I've been on the self-righteous Pharisee type for a couple of years now. So we're gonna get off of that. I'm gonna jump on me today, I think, a little bit. So what you working on, Kenny?
Yeah, what you got?
No, I was nothing for this. I just wanted to finish something up. I had something in my mind. Yeah, I'm here now. We haven't opened yet, so I.
To the show.
Does it really matter, Kenny? Once we open, that don't mean anything.
He hits the red button, baby. We're
on.
Yeah.
He didn't tell us. He just hits the red button.
Yeah, well, I usually go ahead and hit the red button when I get here. That way I don't have to worry about getting back up. And I just cut out usually about the first 15 minutes. That's where my gags run. That's
gold.
That's where the gag reel comes from. Had a interesting thing happen yesterday. So I was recording a podcast for work, and it was only the second one I'd done with this group.
Right.
And I get on there. Now, these I'm not on the show. I'm just producing.
Right,
so I'm just listening to the recording. Well, this lady gets on there. The first person on, I didn't know them. They were the guest. And she comes on there and she starts, I need you to move back your camera this way. I need you to do this. And the host gets on and she's like, I don't like your lighting. I need you to do this. I need you to zoom out here. And I'm like, who is this person? And she's like, she's running the show. Well, we start recording. I don't care. It's not my show. So y'all do whatever you want. They've obviously invited this person on. Well, when they do the introduction, they say, we're thrilled to have so-and-so. You may recognize her from WKNP News, blah, blah, blah. She was a news reporter. I'm like, now I understand why you took control.
About the lights and what she wants. Yeah.
And I was taking notes, man, for an interviewer. I mean, you could tell she was ready to go.
Yeah.
What she was doing. Yeah. So it was really cool watching a pro actually do it. I didn't know we were bringing pros in to this.
That would have been nice. You got that going on.
Well, this is definitely amateur hour.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, you're. This is the opposite side of the ground.
Yeah,
you've lowered yourself.
You got anything prepared?
Kenny says it's Thursday.
Yeah. We had to move it to a different day this week. Yeah. Between weather and meetings and everything else, and meeting at lunchtime too.
Well, I brought guests with me today, so y'all wave. Get back.
I love it.
So they're always asking me,
Gabe and Reese.
I don't understand this. So they were out of school Monday, Tuesday. They were back yesterday, but they had winter break already scheduled for Thursday, Friday. I don't understand why you get winter break 3 weeks into the semester. They've just been out for 2 weeks.
Look at them. They look like they've been studying.
Tired.
They're so industrious.
Winter.
But they probably asked me some of the best deep theological questions that I ever hear. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to cut out the middleman this time.
Okay.
And, rather than making y'all sit around at home, I'm going to bring you with me and you guys be on the Kenny direction with y'all. Gabe's biggest one this morning was, do you sleep in heaven?
I don't know, man. That's a great question. I don't know there's an answer per se, because we're not even sure exactly what we're going to be like, except the Bible says that we will be like him, meaning Christ. So what does that mean? Resurrected body, I'm sure. I mean, the resurrected body ate because he asked for fish after he was raised from the dead. So if he ate, I don't know, it's a good possibility he could sleep, but we don't know that for sure.
I said I didn't know.
But the fact that he asked for fish and ate it to show that he wasn't a ghost tells me, okay, there may be some, not necessarily physical stuff we have to do, but it bears a reason. I mean, who knows? We might be kind of like Energizer bunnies, don't need to sleep. We've got plenty of energy and perfect body, so
And you can go through walls.
Yeah.
He went through the wall. That's about all I know.
That's it. I mean, I wish you did tell us more of what I know. There's going to be a lot of worship, so
Yes.
we'll get that. What's going to be in heaven? A lot of worship, a lot of I think a lot of rejoicing, a lot of things like that. But yeah, the day in day out stuff. We have homes when Jesus says John 14, "In my house are many dwelling places." So there's going to be kind of homes. So I don't know. Are these like apartment buildings or are we talking houses? Some translate it mansions. I don't know. So we know we're going to have places to live. So that kind of tells me we might have a place to sit down and sleep. I don't know. So
I just think it's hard to understand on this side of heaven.
yeah, yeah.
Even if he showed us everything, this side, we just can't understand it.
No,
It's like salvation. The prophets and, Moses and the prophets, they couldn't understand salvation, but we get it.
that's right.
But they struggled to see, how is this gonna happen? So I think it might be kinda like that, huh?
And Gabe, I would also just say this: I promise you, whatever it is or isn't, it's going to be good.
Yeah,
So,
that's the
so
Could be the
I
best
think
day
that's
ever.
the thing that I'm gonna hold on to is, I'd love to know all the intricacies of, okay, well, what kind of food are we gonna eat? What's our diet gonna be? What's for supper the first night? That'd be kind of cool to know, but at the same time, I can trust it. It's gonna be good.
There was a time, I don't know if I've ever told this story on here or not, but, and I don't remember exactly where we were going, but when Gabe was probably 4, 5, 6-ish, somewhere like that, we were going somewhere and I didn't tell him where we were going. It
Mhm.
was a surprise. I can't remember if it was a
Oh,
basketball
yeah,
game or
love those
football
things.
game or, it might have even been a concert, whatever it was something I knew he'd be really excited about, but I also didn't tell him
Oh,
about it
yeah.
until the last minute because I knew if I told him, then for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, everybody was gonna be is,
We're going.
"How many more days? How many more
We're
days? How
going.
many more days?" And I just didn't tell him. So, on the way there, he's just bugging the crap out of me. "Now, how much longer? How much
Yeah.
longer? How much
Which
longer?"
way we're going?
And I'm sitting there thinking, if you had a
Uh,
clue where we were going, you wouldn't be bugging me about it.
Yeah.
You'd just be excited about where we're going. I think about that sometimes with the things that we don't understand. I think there's a lot of things that if we only knew where we were headed, we wouldn't worry quite so much along the way about how long it's going to take to get there, what it's going to be like.
So do you remember that?
I don't remember asking.
He
Okay.
whispered to me Bob Seger concert.
I was thinking.
So is that what it
about
was?
that.
Okay,
It
so
might
my
have been the
question
Bob
is,
Seger
did it
concert.
live up to, was it the Bob Seger, not a cover band? The Bob
The
Seger.
Bob Seger.
The
Ooh,
Bob Seger.
I
He was,
wish I'd have known.
Yeah.
Was it, did it live up to the hype?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was-
Because that's the thing is sometimes if you do that, you got to be careful. If you do that, building up, ain't going to tell you, then it doesn't live up to the hype of, oh, you just took me to McDonald's. What is that about? Versus heaven's going to be the exact opposite. All this that we have, this expectation and looking forward to it, it's going to be far exceed anything we ever thought. And so I think that's the thing is you're not going to be disappointed, even though, man, I wish I knew more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it makes it even better. This has got to be great.
I think it might have been the Bob Seger concert because I remember we bought the tickets for that thing. Like this would have been, you would have been 5 or
Wow.
6.
Where was
And
it?
it was in Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
I
So
would have gone.
he was on his farewell tour. And
He
that
was
was the closest one that I thought there was going to be. He ended up actually doing one in Raleigh a few months later. We went to that one too.
Even
he was-
Greenville, I'd go.
He was obsessed with wanting to see Bob Seger.
I
And I
could
was
just
like, this
go.
is probably the best chance we're ever going to
What's
get.
your favorite song?
Not a huge
That
fan
it
anymore.
was Still the Same was one of them.
Yes, that's a good one.
Uh,
Still the same. Yeah, I got to give you that.
Is it still the same?
Turn the page.
Old Time Rock and Roll was one of your favorites.
Yeah.
That old time.
Turn the page.
Against the Wind.
Yes,
Oh,
Wind's a good
yeah,
one.
that's good.
That man's classic. He's one of my favorites.
Oh, he was great.
I liked him.
He was.
Well, we were going to go see a cover band last October. I was trying to get y'all to go. Remember?
Bob Seger?
Yeah, there's a cover band. I think they were called either Hollywood Nights or something like that.
man.
It's named after that. They were going to be at a place in Raleigh that has like a nice little place. So I was going to get y'all, and it was the folks that went on the Dwight Yoakam / which, by the way,
We
they're
got that coming up.
in
Yeah.
Cary in May.
Yeah.
Dos Amigos.
My mom didn't even believe that when I said, I'm going to a Dwight Yoakam and ZZ Top concert. She said, with Ben?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She could not understand.
Oh no! Listen, when you see us play finish the lyric Friday night, next Friday night at the Valentine Bank. We're gonna find out, man. I've always been a music fan. So Bob Seger, I was listening to Bob Seger when I was your age and younger. I mean, that's how long he's been around. So, but he's classic.
Is he still playing?
I don't think so. That was his farewell
That was
tour.
the farewell tour in
Well, sometimes they
2019.
come back.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I give him about another 2 or 3 years. If he is still alive, he'll come back for a little bit more.
He
Great.
made a joke at the last. So we went to a second one when he came to Raleigh.
when was that? What year was it?
2018 was
Okay.
when I took him, and then 2019 he came back.
Man,
to
I
Raleigh.
wish I'd known he was gonna be in this area.
Yeah,
I know that.
you
I
went to
was
that
gone
one, yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Dancing with Cole?
Yep, edit that out too. Yeah, she's found her a little a hole.
But now, if I'm not mistaken, now his shows were not like shows. He stands there and sings.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, he's got a big band with him.
You almost need to charge him rent on the stage. He's not moving around or
Well, he's 75.
Yeah.
So he might have been.
kind of
I
like
was just trying to find his.
like the Eagles.
He's 80.
Eagles,
He plays guitar in some of them, but
don't have all the.
it's not tons of lights and all that kind of stuff. Although it was funny
But
walking
he
into
can
that
do the
place.
music.
Yeah, walking into that place though. I mean, Gabe
I
was.
bet there was some ancient.
It was. I think there were three adults and Gabe, and I'd say Gabe was the youngest human being in that building by
Oh yeah.
25, 30 years, easy.
Yeah.
But they actually gave him, I don't know if you still got it, probably not, but when we were finishing up, when we were leaving, one of the road crews, I guess, had seen him somewhere along the line, and they brought him the set list, and he gave it to him.
No way, man.
So that was pretty cool.
Awesome. You still got it? You saved that.
I think we got it somewhere.
I might even want it if you don't have it.
Yeah,
I'll buy it from you.
it's the list of all the songs he played.
They got
it was cool.
But they got them up on the stage. Sometimes they're taped on the floor. We're gonna sing Hollywood Nights, then this, then this, then break, so everybody knows they're on the same page.
Yeah.
Huh?
We got to, I leveraged him a lot for that thing. That he had a sign that he was holding up and stuff. And our seats weren't bad. They were on the floor, but they were back probably,
I love
25, 30 rows.
Golly,
And I walked him up to the usher there and said, "Do you mind if we?" And he let us go up to this. We got to about the second row.
Yeah.
The
Oh, that's cool.
Was it crowded? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
was it a lot of
sold out.
as far as getting there? Was it hard to get there? I mean,
Yes, in fact, when we got close, we were in separate cars.
Uh-huh.
I had Gabe, and then the other two were in a different car. And I didn't think I was gonna make it. We got to about an hour out, and I've hit traffic.
Traffic.
Yeah.
But-
If there had been it didn't say anything about an opening act on the ticket. So I was thinking if he starts at 7, we're late. But
Yeah.
he didn't end up, when we got in there, it was an opening act.
He didn't get it till 9,
Yeah,
probably.
he didn't start about 9:00.
Yeah, I remember the Rolling Stones came, and there was a lot.
Oh, yeah. That was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I'd already seen them, so I didn't
Yeah.
anticipate on that one.
No, that was a cool time though. So it did live up to it. But no, I didn't tell him about it for a long time because I knew he'd bug me, counting down the days and counting down the miles on the ride. So I didn't tell him until we got close how far it was.
Well, Greenville, South Carolina's about a
3.5
4 4-hour ride. So, and it's aggravating. Woof! I hate going to Greenville South.
Yeah, that's a rough trip.
I had to go right before Christmas. I don't care if I have to go again, man. I'm telling you.
I've only
I'm
been
gonna
a
avoid that
handful of
place like
times.
the plague.
Greenville's a pretty cool town once you get there. I mean, it's a pretty town.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It is. It was just getting there.
Getting there.
You got to go through Charlotte. Then you got I-85.
I can't stand it. You get 85 south of Charlotte, and
Yeah.
it turns into Talladega.
It is. It's awful.
nuts.
It's awful.
Well, welcome to the other 167
Hey.
with Garrett, Kenny, Ben, Gabe, and Reese this time.
Well, that's people changing. Trucks blocking.
Oh, the minimum speed limit's about 85.
Yeah.
Really?
And if you are more than 2 car lengths away from the car in front of you, somebody's going to fill that
Yeah.
spot.
And you got trucks who are in the left 2 lanes where it's jamming up to where everybody's passing. I mean, it's bad. I
Yeah.
hated it.
Yeah.
Where's 85 going from Charlotte?
To Atlanta.
Okay, well that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know where it goes
Well,
past
then when
Atlanta.
you get to Atlanta, it really becomes fun.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
I had somebody pass me one time in Atlanta. I know he was doing every bit 140. Because I was
Oh, no.
moving 80 and he, pew! I
Yeah.
said, good.
80 is
golly.
about my limit. 85 is about my limit.
Yeah, I don't want to
In
go.
reverse.
No, that's great, man. I like that. Holds a good one.
So Reese's last cheer competition, I looked at the times wrong. I thought she started at 11:25. She was supposed to arrive at 11:25.
Oh,
So Heather took her. So I was I didn't have to worry about getting her there. But I thought I was running late, and I'm not going to say out loud how fast I was going, but
Woo.
I beat the GPS time. Put it that way, comfortably.
Yeah.
And I got there, and I rushed in there, and I looked at the phone, and her arrival was 11:25. She was performing at like 12:38 or some random time like that. So I said, "Okay, well, I've rushed for nothing, but at least I was there on time."
And, was this at the Civic Center?
It was at the Coliseum complex up there
Okay.
at the Greensboro.
Oh, this was in
Yeah.
Greensboro.
I can't tell you how many times I've been to Greensboro Coliseum in my life, but I went 2 weeks in a row. The
Yeah.
monster trucks, and then the very next week was her cheer competition.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got a couple of those. So, well, I said we've been on the Pharisees quite a bit lately. I'm gonna share my own. I'm gonna get on myself this week. I think a little bit or something. So, something that I was a little surprised by, I guess. Remember we did a spiritual gifts survey a
Mhm.
couple years ago.
Yeah.
Those Most of those they pretty much were in bracket terms, I'd say they went about chalk, exactly the way I expected it to go. I scored like a 3 or something, I think, on like
Yeah.
teaching in some of those areas. And then there were others like administration, got a 1, just like I expected. But there was one thing that I remember scoring high on that I didn't even know it was a spiritual gift, much less that I possessed it, and that was faith. And I was like, I didn't think of faith as being a spiritual gift.
Mhm.
I thought of that as just being something you had to have, and that's something that
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of faith gets used quite a lot.
in a lot of different contexts. Yeah.
There's saving faith,
Mm-hmm.
there's believing faith, and then the gift of faith, and all three are different.
Yeah.
I think the spiritual gift of faith is one that is able to help others believe. It's one that says, "Hey, I see what God says, I can do it. I mean, I'll trust it."
Yeah.
And you act upon it. So I think there's a lot that goes into what that spiritual gift of faith is. But a lot of times it is helping others to, oh man,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times pastors should have that because you're wanting to encourage your congregation, encourage the folks that are under your care. Hey, this is what God said. We're going to believe it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're pushing the church to step out into areas that they maybe haven't before, such as, hey, we're going to increase the missions given budget by $100,000.
Yeah.
And I trust that God's going to do it.
So I remember in that sermon that you preached on that, you talked about spiritual gifts kind of being like muscles. You got to work them out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've learned the faith muscle. Those are the quads and glutes of
Yeah,
the,
they
of
are.
the muscles.
They are.
They hurt to work out.
Don't skip leg day.
Yeah, don't skip them.
Yeah.
And they're not fun to exercise. So as I've been just, I've gotten, I guess, or I don't know if gotten to is the right way of saying it, or if that's even good English, but I've maybe had to exercise that muscle a little bit more lately than I would particularly care to. Somebody told me something one time. It was the most. It was. I know the guy real well, and I know he meant well, but this was about the most triple backhanded compliment I've ever heard in my life. I might have told you this before, but he said, one thing I love about you, man. He said, it doesn't matter how bad your life gets or how hard things get. He said, you just always have a good attitude about it. And you always think it's going to work out and see, if you'd have stopped there, then fine.
Right.
He said, because you're just so arrogant, you just think that you can overcome anything. And I thought, I think you meant that in a positive way. I'll take it. But I mean, I do tend to, it doesn't matter how good or bad. I mean, it's just, you don't have a choice. You just fight through it.
You pick up, you go forward.
That's right. But, I've talked about this a little bit, but I felt like, a while ago, kind of being led in a direction. I didn't know if that was really God or not, but I kind of felt like it was. But he wasn't asking for anything big, so kind of took a couple little steps. And then, long story short, over time, he's given some validation maybe along the way that, yeah, this is me that's nudging you here.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also started to ask for a little bit more.
Right.
And when I wasn't paying attention, he's also been blocking off some of the other paths that I might have had as like escape routes, to the point that it's almost like, if I were given a metaphor for this, it's like you walk down this path long enough, you get to a point where you get to a cliff that's 30 feet down and 10 feet to the other side, and he's telling you to jump.
Uh-huh.
And you're like, no,
Yeah.
this this is stupid. I can't do this. And he's, well, have faith. I'm like, faith's what got me to the top of the cliff. Okay. I don't, and it's, sometimes I'm reminded of that, faith sounds, there's a fine line, I think sometimes it's hard to wrestle with. What's the difference in having faith and just being stupid? Because sometimes I feel like the stuff that he tells us to do will sound stupid, and it may feel
Right.
stupid.
Yeah.
And I almost got to the point where I was like, you know what, fine, I'll jump, but I'm going to fall. Like, let's just well, I'll go ahead and maybe you want to teach me what it feels like to have a broken leg, but I know there's lessons and everything, but I'll jump, but I'm not going to have I don't have any confidence that this is going to go well. But if you insist on jumping, then fine, I will. But I don't know if that, I guess that has to do with faith, but sometimes I think the main point that I'm getting to there is that sometimes faith's going to feel, if you're going to exercise that faith muscle, it is jumping off a, it's you gotta jump first for him to catch you or whatever you
Right.
wanna say, but you gotta do some stuff that's kinda out there sometimes, that at least it feels that way.
Yeah, are you talking about faith or trusting? I mean,
It's a good question. I don't kn
I think they go kind of hand in
yeah,
hand.
yeah, they do. But I was just, trust he works out. But if I'm going to jump off the cliff and break my leg, I sure want that voice to be auto.
Yeah.
You know, I'm,
Well, because
yeah,
it's not
I've got to actually hear that one out loud.
well, it's not and it's not necessarily that he's done plenty of things along the way that I can say, "Okay, I didn't think he could do this, but he did. I didn't think he could do
Yeah,
this, but he did. Okay, so I don't think he can do this." Deep down, I can tell you, no, I know he can.
Sure.
I don't
right.
think I
Well,
don't particularly think he's going to, but I think he can.
that's when does his best work.
I know.
When,
And that's the hard part
that's
about
it.
it is that
I think sometimes you got to get humble or be humble for him to work things out. And then you're amazed. And I didn't even know that.
I think that's maybe when I said I'm getting on myself on it a little bit,
Yeah.
the thing that I'm struggling with it is if I'm being just objective about it and I'm not getting emotional in my head and all that kind of stuff, it's not that I don't have any reason to doubt him that he can or will or whatever.
Right.
He's given plenty of Gideon and the fleece.
Right.
He's done that part of it to say, okay, I'm here and this is what I want you to do. And the only thing that's holding me back is a lack of faith. And I've never had a lack of faith before, I think. I don't think I've never had that, okay, this is too big. I don't trust you. I just don't, I don't want to say I don't trust you, but again, faith is the one that got me to the top of the mountain
Yeah.
with the cliff.
Well,
So,
faith and trust, like you said, go hand in hand. I think the ultimate answer is, well, faith is always going to involve doing something a little bit scary. If you're not stepping out into something that's, how in the world is he going to do this, or how is this going to happen? Okay, that sounds more like stuff I can do.
mhm,
Where faith says, "No, God, you have never let me down in the past."
Mhm.
Faith says, "I'm going to trust you that you've led me to this place, and I'm going to trust that you're leading me to do it." And making sure that, like you said, once I see His hand, once I see where He's leading, then trust that He's going to take care of it. And who knows? I mean, hey, we never. I mean, think about it. In your life over the last 3 years, there's a lot of things I never thought I'd be here.
yeah,
You never thought you'd be where God has you, but it's been step by step, little thing after little thing, and maybe this is one of those things that He's saying, "Okay, do you really trust me?" And that's really gonna be part of our walk with Him. Is there's gonna be little steps, but when you to start taking those baby steps, then it becomes we're gonna start running.
yeah.
And when you start running, that might be some big stuff.
Jumping.
I've done maybe a way of
Leaping.
putting this is
Yeah, leaping. It's
Parasailing.
walk, run, jump, leap.
yeah. Well, one of the things
Fly.
Yeah,
Fly.
right. Man, we got a sermon right here.
I think maybe this wouldn't be even in the top 10 biggest leaps of faith I've ever taken.
Mm,
It would just be all the other 9 were leaps of faith in myself
right.
as opposed to leap of faith in him. And that's when he's really using hard against me on that, is that, no, this is just the first time I've asked you to trust me to
Yeah.
do something that you think
Not
stupid.
your own
You
ability.
didn't have a problem doing
That you
stupid
can
stuff when it
give up.
was you doing it.
That's right.
But now I'm telling you to do something and you've tried to jump across 15-foot cliffs before on your own. I'm telling you to jump 8
Yep.
and you're scared to do it. It's like, well, yeah, I was an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, I've established that now, but I kind of want to be a little bit safer nowadays and not maybe take so many stupid chances.
Well, and I think that if you know it's Him, man, don't be.
Yeah.
There's part of me that says don't be afraid,
Yeah,
because if you know it's Him, I don't care if you do only make it 7, he'll do something to
Yeah.
make it even make up the shortfall. I'm telling you, if as long as you know it's him, that's the key, and that's where that trust comes in. It says,
Yeah.
mm-mm. And that's that faith too that says this is good as done.
Yeah.
And I think I'm trying to think. Last night we did a study in Hebrews 10, and we were talking about faith, hope, and love. And I was talking about faith and hope, and I made the comment, and I'm not sure. I want to back it up and make sure I'm doing it right. Hope is faith on steroids. Faith says, okay, I believe it. But hope says, no, it's as good as done, and I'm counting on it. And the hope that we have in heaven, the hope that these promises are true, the hope, well, my faith says I believe it, but then that hope carries me on. Well, that hope and that trust are kind of the same thing. Is that confident expectation that all these promises, everything he says he's going to do, then I'm going to live my life that way, not even worrying about the consequences. Because what consequences?
Yeah.
I like that. You just nearby quoted Hebrews 11:1, didn't you?
Well, we were in Hebrews 10, 22.
Okay.
We were in Hebrews
I didn't know
10,
that was
22 through
okay.
25, and if you look at Hebrews 10, 22 through 25, I
That was
made the argument that the 3 virtues of a Christian faith, hope, and love, are all right there in 22, 23, 24, and 25, and so, and with the greatest of these being love, faith in the fact of we draw near, with the assurance of faith that he will receive us, hope in the fact that we cling to the assurance of hope in verse 24, 23, 24, and 25 is let us encourage one another with to provoke one another, in other words, to love and good deeds. So yeah, that's where we were. But Hebrews 11:1, without faith is impossible to please God, or faith is the substance of things
That's
hoped
good
for.
for
Yeah.
it.
And then Hebrews 11:6 is without it, it's impossible to please
So
God.
you were doing Hebrews.
I was.
Well, you did very well just explaining it right then because yeah, I knew where he was at.
Yeah,
But I mean,
well,
I didn't
thank
know
you.
I mean, you explained it to where I knew what chapter you were on, but I wasn't in the prayer.
No, you do a great work with the Awanas. And I appreciate you.
You know,
You do.
last show we did, talked about But Jesus and I mean, I kinda wanna go through the Gospels again in inventory, not that just because he talks about something more times than others, that makes it necessarily any more important, but
Hmm?
if you look through his teachings, there's certainly a lot of concepts that he hit on multiple times,
Mhm.
and in my mind, I think when I off of just, like, top of my head memory, I always think of the Pharisees and self-righteousness and judgment as being one of the big things that he taught about, and it was, but I think faith was one of the bigger parts of his teaching. I mean, he rebuked the disciples for their lack of faith
Yeah.
as much or maybe even more than he rebuked the Pharisees for their self-righteousness, and that's
I
one
hadn't
that I overlook sometimes.
I had never thought of it that way, but that is, probably true. But he did rebuke his disciples a lot too. I never put those together.
And it was
Pharisees and disciples in the same on the same level. But yeah.
well, that's really the 2 groups that he rebuked the most, if not exclusively, other than the, woman of the well go and sin no or, the, woman caught in adultery, go and sin no more. Little things like that, like we talked about before, but as far as rebuke,
Yeah. No,
lack of
well,
faith to the disciples, self-righteousness to the Pharisees.
yeah. I mean, I think the Pharisees would be number 1 with a bullet because they get all the woe unto thee, woe to thee.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
the disciples all the time he's rebuking them for, and usually it's a lack of faith. So if you put those together, lack of faith or going through the motions pretending to be, maybe that's the two things he really is hitting at just as much as anything else. But those 2 are prominent.
Well, it goes back to the greatest commandment again, loving God with all your mind, heart, mind, body, and soul means faith. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's couldn't probably sum it up in one word or less than more than that. But so I mean, it makes sense when you think of it that way. That would be his big, one of the big teachings. But he didn't spend a ton of time going around telling people, "Don't do this, don't do this, do this, don't do that." I mean, there was just a little bit of that, but most of it was high level faith and self righteousness.
Well, and I think a lot of that was that it really wasn't a lot of thou shalt nots. I mean, he hit on the commandments, but he always hit behind the commandments. You've heard it said, "Thou shalt not commit adultery." Well, he goes to the very heart of it. No, it's the heart behind the law, not necessarily the rule itself, but the heart behind it. And I think that's the thing that God's more interested in than anything else is that genuineness, that heart that is behind the performance, not just doing for doing's sake. That's why the book of Ephesians, it's just about every book that Paul wrote, for the most part, it deals with doctrine first, then he goes to duty, or what we believe impacts how we behave. And so if we get our mind and our heart right, then our hands and our life should be right. It ain't gonna be perfect. I'm not saying that, but it would be that once you get your thinking right, it's going to impact how you live. And that's a big piece. I mean, all of Hebrews, the first 10 chapters, has been nothing but almost doctrine, doctrine, doctrine. He's greater than. Jesus is greater in his person. Jesus is greater in his priesthood. Now, since we have that rule, and we have an advocate, and we have access to the throne, he says, now let us draw near. Let us cling to this hope that we have. Let us love one another, encourage one another. So it was all that we have Jesus as our great high priest. Now we got these things we can do practically. So principle and then practice.
So, and what you're saying, like everything starts in the heart.
Yep.
That's where the sin starts. It's not the
mind
act,
and the heart.
and that's where love starts. Everything starts in the heart.
And I'd throw the mind in there too,
Well,
because sin starts in the mind too.
well, mind, heart. That's
Yeah.
the same
Mind.
to me. But
But it all goes back to, a lot of that goes back to, okay, what is the truth? That's your mind. But then what do you really believe about the truth? That's your heart. So they go together. They really do.
and the act. Well, you already sinned anyway. I don't know how much sin the actual act is. Well, that's what we see.
Right.
But you've already sinned here, and that's
Well,
what you're going to be.
but being tempted is not
Right,
sin.
right.
I mean, you can have the thought, and you can even mess with the thought some, but then comes the time of, all right, so what's going to happen there?
I would say sin is, how does sin start in the heart
I mean,
and the mind?
James says, first it starts with a thought. Then
Yeah,
that
but
thought
then
gives
next-
way to a lust, and lust gives way to desire.
And that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
Lust.
it's James. And so that
Yep.
really starts in there. And that would be, trying to think that's James 2, but it's in the book of James.
I couldn't think of the word. I was trying to go deception, but yeah, that's what I was looking for most.
Yep. But go ahead.
No,
I'll find it.
that's all I was going to say.
Oh.
I think you cleared it up for it. I was going to say, if you
Well, no, I cleared it up too well. No, James 1:14. But each one is tempted when he is carried away, enticed by his own lust. Then when lust has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it has run its course, brings forth death. So there you are. So again, that heart and mind. And I think that's why he tells us, set our mind on the things that are above. Be transformed. How? By the renewing of your mind. And how's our mind transformed? By the word of God.
And one thing I do want to touch on is sin is in your heart, whether you do it or not.
Well, I mean, Jeremiah tells us that the heart is deceptively wicked above all things. Now, we are
because you want to do it.
Yeah, but we are a new creation in Christ, so we don't have to.
Right.
And we've been given everything we need for life and godliness, so we don't necessarily have to do it, nor do we necessarily have to dwell on it. So
my question was,
no, you didn't ask a question.
That's it. My thought was,
Okay, there you go.
well, sin is here, and you don't necessarily have to commit an act.
No, you don't have to act on it.
It's just you already.
Well, I mean,
but
having a thought and having a temptation is not sin.
No.
We're human. That's being human.
But when you start to
follow it
and lust in it, that's where the sin is.
And that baby just begins to be more enticing and more.
Eventually, it might be a physical act.
Yeah.
So having the thought is not a sin, because I always think of that sometimes, like even the thought itself reveals the sinful nature.
I think it reveals the sinful
acting
nature.
on it is going to make it a lot bigger.
But I mean, let's all be honest. There's always going to be that thought
Yeah.
that comes in your mind that may not be the best thought. It might be something ugly. It might be something that was rude. It might be something that okay, that's of the flesh, and that's just a part of again being fallen. Thing of it is, am I going to act on it? Am I going to take every thought captive to Christ? That's what Paul tells us to do
Yeah.
because these thoughts can come into our head that are not necessarily. Whoa, what is that?
Yeah.
That's not who I am. And well, then let's go back and let's get that thought and make sure that we so having the thought to come up or even being tempted, no, Jesus was tempted.
You bet.
I mean,
That's something maybe I haven't ever always I'm not sure that I've understood that the right way
Well,
then,
and
because I've always
kind of
thought of the
scripture.
sin the thought as being the sin,
well,
the
I
action is
think
the carrying out of it.
if you continue to dwell upon that
Yeah.
thought, I think that's the thing is it starts in a seed form. And I don't know that having it in the seed form when it first comes up and then making sure you take it captive to Christ or making sure that you handle it. I don't know that I'd call that a sin as much as okay, now when that baby begins to take seed and it begins to take root and you begin to dwell on that thought and you begin to think about, oh man, that would be so fun to do that, or that right there is so enticing that man, it looks better than what God has for me.
Mhm.
Then that's where sin comes in.
Mhm.
And so what we have to be careful because yeah, those thoughts can uh, we we can easily turn that it almost seems like it is
Mhm.
because it's, we had the thought, no, I'm just gonna go do it.
Mhm.
So that can almost be it almost seems like it could be the same, but there is I think there is a time there because, First Corinthians tells us that, you know, well, everybody talks about that, he never puts on us more than we can bear.
Mhm.
That's not true. That's in temptation.
Yeah.
He never puts on more, but he provides a way out.
Yeah.
And that way out is, okay, rather than act upon that thought, no, Christ, I'm going to choose your way out, a little passageway that's around that temptation, so to speak.
So I'll give you a real world example of this. So in the last week, especially, but it's always the case. But I've probably had a dozen or more snide comments or snide emails or snide things like this that I read it and I'm like, I'm gonna write this back.
Yeah.
I'm ready to write this back, and I know I'm not actually going to do it, but I just let it play out in my head a little bit of what would I say if I was going to reply to this.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
that.
But
That's
then
called one more time.
but then by the time I'm done with it, it's like I know I'm not. At the end of the day, I know I'm
Yeah.
never going to actually hit send, so I'm not even
And
going to
that
type the email. I'm not even going to go.
hey,
And I quickly kind of just delete it and move on. Delete it, move on. But see, to me, just the thought of of wanting to reply, that's a sin that I have to. I feel like I need
See,
to repent
I don't
of
know about
in
that one.
itself.
So
I don't. I'm not sure that that is necessarily
I
the.
wouldn't go that.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know that I want to say that that's the sin. I think
Kenny, hopes
I
you don't
think
have to go that
think
far.
I think when
I
you begin
mean,
to respond back and you say something that's unwholesome or you say something that's rude or you fire back, I don't know that I don't know that okay, just having the thought, look, we're all gonna have thoughts that ain't right
Yeah.
because we're fallen. At the same time, it's what you do with that mind because this spiritual warfare we fight, it's a matter of. I know he says it's a matter of the heart. I say it's also a matter of the mind.
Mhm.
What are you going to dwell upon?
Yeah.
Because I think that's where these things happen. You know, case in point, you got more time on your hands. I've always found I got more time on my hands. That's when I can think more stuff that I probably shouldn't do or do.
Mhm.
And so, which one am I going to focus my mind on?
Mhm.
And so, yeah. So somebody responds, and you want to respond back, but not responding back to me shows, all right, that's spiritual maturity
Mhm.
because the natural flesh response would be, let me let you hold it.
Yeah.
Or let me let you get, oh, you're going to say that?
Yeah.
Then look, I'm telling you, I kid you not. There are times when I'm on the lawnmower that I'm coming up with responses to somebody I wish I'd have said in seventh grade. And it's like,
My favorite is
what?
when you start anticipating things you think people are gonna say.
Yeah.
And you go ahead
Yes.
and I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
ready when you do
if they
this.
say that, I'm gonna come
Yeah.
back. Listen, Seinfeld had an episode on that. George come up with a zinger 20 minutes later, and it's
Yeah.
like, I wish I'd have said that, and it was still stupid. but it's one of we think about those things, but now, all right. I'm not going to let that seed. I hate to keep going back to that illustration. I'm not going to let that take seed and take root
Yeah.
and not act upon it. So I disagree because I don't know. The Bible doesn't tell us in Matthew 4. Did Jesus actually think about the rock and the bread?
Yeah.
I'm sure before the devil got there in those 40 days, he had to be thinking about some bread.
Yeah.
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 Now,
Well,
the
he
enemy
should.
coming and saying,
Should.
now take these stones and turn them to bread. You know you got the power. I'm sure that was a pretty serious temptation.
Yeah, after 40 days, and yeah, he's part human, and yeah, I
Fully
think
Fully
yeah,
human.
well,
Fully God,
human,
fully human. Then again, how that works itself out. But I
I
still
don't- yeah.
believe he could have easily fallen to that. I mean, now there's arguments that he couldn't sin, arguments he could.
I think he could.
I think he could have too. I don't think the enemy would have
Well,
spent
let
so
it.
much time if he couldn't have.
Well, they asked me the other day something that I think it seems Gabe probably asked me something along the lines, but well, Jesus could do anything he wanted to. Technically, yes and no there because he gave up
Mhm.
his powers to be fully human.
Right.
The way he was able, I'm asking him to
You're right.
explain this the right way. The way he was able to walk on water, the way he was able to feed 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fish was because he asked God to give him the power to do that. God gave him the power to be able to perform these miracles, but he had forfeited the power to just do it himself without going to God first. Is that because I've always kind of thought the same thing that what Gabe said. Well, Jesus could do whatever he wanted to. He was Jesus, and even to the point that it starts to diminish even the temptation.
Yeah.
Well, of course he could. He wasn't really
See, that-
tempted. He
that's
was
it.
God. He wasn't really suffering on the cross. He was God. He wasn't
Right.
really. But no, he gave up.
Fully human. I think you're right in a way. I think you have to be careful with the wording. I like the wording of he limited himself.
Okay.
Philippians talks about he made himself nothing. The scripture says would be the kenosis or the emptying of himself. He still had powers and still could do these things. I think it had to do more with he limited himself, meaning that, yeah, he was fully God, fully man. But I kind of equate it to this, and I think we've talked about this. If I was going on a mission trip to a Spanish-speaking country, right? Now, I had Spanish in high school, and I can barely order a taco at Taco Bell. All right, so
Spanish?
that's Spanish taco.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Yes.
taco's got to be Spanish. All right, so all right, so I'm going to a Spanish-speaking country, and so I know in 2 years I'm going to do it. So for 2 years, I decide I'm not going to say anything in English. Everything I do is going to do in Spanish because I want to learn the language. So when I go down there, I can do it. Now, why do I do that? It's because of my love for the Spanish people who want them to come to know Christ. To me, that's kind of what Christ did. He limited himself. Now, could I still speak English anytime during those 2 years? I'm sure if you were headed out to an emergency, you were about to step out off a curb and a car was about to hit you, I'd say, Garrett, look out.
Right.
I wouldn't say alto.
Yeah.
Spanish. I wouldn't say alto or halt, or I don't know how you would say it. Alto, blah, blah, blah. I would say, Garrett, look out.
Yeah.
Why? Because that's my English language. Now, I limited myself, but I can still speak English.
Yeah.
I think what Christ did was he limited himself. He could still do everything he needed to do and more, but he was still human and he was still God.
Okay.
And why did he do it? Because he loved us. Same way that I would limit myself for that mission trip.
Yeah.
It is a holding back, if you will, emptying yourself, holding back, limiting himself from doing those things. So therefore, he did get hungry. Therefore, he did feel sorrow in the fact that he wept. He did, get hungry. He slept. What else did he do? He was tired. He got angry just like we got angry, except he got angry over the right things. I mean, he was just like us, yet without sin. And at the same time, he was fully God too, meaning all these miracles he did too.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, let me see if I'm getting this right. He limited its power, is what you're saying.
Limited himself.
Well, okay.
Or
But-
he still had his power.
Yes, but did he, and this is where I'm getting confused, did he ask God to walk on the water or did he just do it automatically?
In that miracle, I don't know that he necessarily asked God to do that. Even the feeding of the 5,000, he just blessed
Yeah,
or prayed
that's what
for.
but I'm asking you, what do you?
I mean, there are times when it looks like he was, I mean, I don't know if he I don't know what
because that's how I always
all
felt
his
about it.
entire prayer life, because he spent let's think
Tons of
about that.
yeah,
He spent a lot of time in prayer, so Lord, was it, "Lord, help me to do this miracles." I don't know that it was that,
I don't know.
as much as it was just communing with the Father. Now, what I'm saying is, I think he is able to do those miracles, but not necessarily. I'm sure every one of them was in the will of the Father.
Yes, yeah, but I'm kinda going back into how we pray.
Right.
Yes, God,
But you're
did he
asking
do
about
that?
Jesus. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying.
what I'm saying.
Th
Did he
We almost need to back away and be, "All right, now how do we do it?"
yes. I mean, that's how we do it,
Yeah, that's why we had to do it.
but I wonder if that's and we only get 1 or 2 prayers from him, and then, of course, that's the Lord's Prayer. I mean, I don't know exactly or I really don't know much about what he was praying for.
Well,
Uh,
I mean,
I know
you
some.
have another prayer that probably tells me a whole lot about it, being that, "Father, if there's any way that you
Yeah.
could remove this
Mhm.
cup from me." I mean, to me, that tells me that, he knew what the Father's will was.
Mhm.
He knew what was coming.
Yes.
At the same time, he was praying, "Lord, if there's any other way that we can do this." But then he always comes back to, "Not my will, but yours be done." You know?
That's why I'm asking. Do you think he actually yeah, I know you don't know the answer, and I don't know the answer to, but do you think that he had to ask the Father on every miracle that he did? Or and I'm not talking at the time when he had to perform the miracle in in person,
Yeah.
but did he pray about it before time? Maybe,
Or
yeah,
even in his head. I mean, half
yeah.
my prayers are in my head.
So I don't
I
know.
think that,
It's just
if you go and I'm gonna give an answer that I have no grounds to defend. I
yeah.
hate to even answer it this way, but I'm gonna borrow from Paul and just say, "Pray without ceasing."
Mhm.
To me, I think that Jesus would have had the ultimate perfect relationship with the Father. That relationship that when the Father he felt the Father saying, "Go do this or do that," or,
Okay.
"Hey,"
Yeah, that makes sense.
or how about this? There was a woman who touched the hem of his garment.
Yes.
He didn't do anything.
Right, right.
He didn't
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't pray about that one because he even asked, "Who touched me? I felt the power go out from me." Now, did he know who touched him? He's asking a question there, or did he just wanna draw attention to the woman who touched him?
So he had it so what you're saying or what I hear you saying is his prayer life was so perfect,
His relationship and prayer
right,
life, okay,
that
keep
he
going.
knew in an instant what God's will was all the time. Am I
I submit that for your consideration.
yeah, and I agree because of that.
And I
But we
think
don't
that's
have
one of
that
the reasons, but I think that's also one of the reasons Paul tells us to pray without ceasing.
yes, I
That
get
there are
that.
times that you don't necessarily, and no, there are things that we need to pray weeks for. I get it. But then there are times in our day in, day out, walk with the Lord that I believe he shows us things that, Lord, I was just thinking about that
Well,
yesterday. I think that goes because what is prayer in its ultimate form? What is prayer? It's not
well,
asking God for
it's
things.
conversation and
It's
worship.
relationship.
Yeah. So he was really and I think this is in the Bible, he was praying about the crucifixion a long time ago. He just didn't start, "Well, I'm gonna die tomorrow, I'm gonna be crucified."
Or start praying on
Mm,
Thursday.
yeah,
Well, I mean, he
yeah,
knew. I mean, he told his disciples numerous times
mhm.
that, and I think that's
So he was
where,
already
I
prepared.
mean, think about it. He told his disciples several times, I'm gonna be arrested.
Mm,
I'm gonna be given over to the authorities. Then I'm gonna basically he told them I'm gonna be crucified, I'm gonna raise again. And what would they always say? Nah, no, it ain't
mm,
gonna happen.
yeah,
And then that was one of the strongest rebukes he did of Peter.
mhm.
Get thee behind me, Satan. So his
That's
mind
pretty
was
strong
already
rebuke right there.
his mind was thinking already about it, but his disciples weren't. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure he was
Well,
thinking
he
about it.
probably I mean, he you're right, that's what I'm saying. He was al by the time that we got here,
Yeah. But
and
maybe
he
just
did falter in on Thursday, yeah, he did falter some, yes.
who faltered?
Jesus, where he was really, the
You saw the humanity.
yeah, humanity, that's what
Yeah,
I
I
meant.
don't know if I'd
But
call it a falter as much
well,
as him being real.
I wouldn't as not a fault, but he
Yeah.
wavered, that's I
I
would say.
think it just okay, the time is now.
Yeah,
If you look all throughout the Gospels, every time he does something, they wanted to arrest him, but his time had not come.
yes.
Now, Thursday night,
But
the
now
time has
it's
come.
a deadline now,
Yeah,
and so
it's real.
he wavered in not in a simple sense, but just wavered in, can we
Yeah, is there something else?
yeah, is there something
Not really looking forward to this ride.
and a lot of
Yeah.
times we just think of the crucifixion of a little bit of blood, but it was a whole lot messier than that.
Well, I mean, he was beat to a pulp before
Oh,
he even carried his cross.
Not even recognizable.
Yeah.
So, if there's any movie that had probably the real picture of the crucifixion, it had to be The Passion for me.
Yeah. You mean it wasn't, King of Kings where he's
No,
standing
no,
there
with
with,
a little
not
drip of
even
blood comes down. Oh, yeah, oh, 2 drops. Yeah.
And that was
No,
from The Crown.
But,
no.
I mean,
I mean,
Pilate, who was a very he wasn't merciful at all.
right.
He was very evil, and, he even was surprised.
I mean, he
Somebody that's been doing this all his life, he was taken back on what they did to him.
Yeah.
That just shows you how much,
Mm.
he probably wasn't even recognizable,
No, he wasn't.
you
I
know?
mean, I'll just be honest with you. You get beat like that, hit in the face, spit upon, flogged within, 39 lashes. Your back's gonna look like hamburger. Your face is gonna be 3 shades of purple and
Yeah.
swolled.
And and Pilate was a very violent man
Yeah.
to begin with, and for him to see that and his violence, used to that type of violence, he was just shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, shifting just a little bit, I guess, back to the sermon. We didn't talk about the sermon last week, or we didn't. We could have. I got
Right.
sidetracked. But there were a few things that you said that I just kind of put stars beside here. Well, I love the story that you told of works versus faith being like trying to fly a passenger plane yourself.
Yeah. I'm
And-
gonna tell the pilot, "Slide over. I got this."
Yeah, I got this one. I thought that was a really good analogy there because that's exactly you can't sum it up much better than that. I
If
thought
I'm
that
gonna
was
trust in my works, you're telling the one who knows how to do it and
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's that so well, and it's funny too because in a plane you're putting your life in the hands of the pilot, certainly, and it would be awfully stupid of us. I mean, I've watched a few aviation videos on YouTube. I don't trust you. I've seen some things where the pilots have
Yeah.
done some things that are
Played a
wrong.
flight simulator game.
I think I'll take
12.
this. Yeah, I think I'll take this because I trust myself, and no, it reminds me of the Holiday Inn Express commercials a little bit.
Oh,
It's like I'll
not a
handle this.
doctor.
I stayed in the Holiday Inn Express last night, but that's got to
Got
be
some-
about the way it appears to God sometimes. Like you just get back in
Yeah.
the seat.
Christ did it all. It is
That's right.
sufficient
Yeah.
once for all.
But the 2 points that I circled that were kind of related, the people wanted Jesus to be a king out of discontentment. That was something you preached on a
Right.
couple weeks ago. There's a lot of places in there where they wanted to be king and he didn't want to be. He didn't.
That isn't why he came.
But I never really got the why he was against it so much. But that kind of nailed it home for me that it was because their motives were bad.
right.
It wasn't just about his humility. So it probably was somewhat to his humility,
And
but it was
his
also
mission.
in his mission.
Yeah.
But another part of it was they wanted it because of what he was. If it were a political campaign, which it was not,
Right.
they wanted it for what he was bringing, what his party was bringing to the table for
Yeah.
them.
As I said, man, he takes care of healthcare and welfare better than anything else.
Yeah.
He can feed 5,000 with fish, and he heals people. Man, this is the greatest thing ever.
Well,
Sign me up.
But he also was tempted about power too, in that last temptation.
Sure.
Yeah,
Worship
so
me, and I'll
that
give you
might have
all
been
the-
when they wanted it. That might have been
Might have been something kept on through his life.
yeah, they wanted him to be king, but
Yeah.
he had to be prayed up enough. When I say prayed up,
No, but
but
walking with the
to
Lord enough to
resist
know.
that. So
And
that might have been a temptation every time they wanted to make him king.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, and even I submit that even at the Garden of Gethsemane, he could have walked away
Could have called 10,000 angels,
and said, "I don't want no part of this."
destroy the world. And
Yeah.
Well, and it
And he even
says,
said, "I could do it."
well, and it said in was it Luke, wherever it is the temptation.
Mm.
It says
Matthew
in Matthew 4.
I think Luke has Luke 3. But go ahead. I'll
Matthew
look that
does
up.
have it.
So it says in Matthew 4
Matthew
that the
4,
devil left until a more opportune time. And I know
That's
you've heard
right.
I know you said before,
Yes.
very, very good chance that more opportune time was the Garden of Gethsemane.
Well,
So
that's-
even though it
that's
doesn't,
opportune.
even though it doesn't talk about Satan being in the garden
Didn't he?
Very likely that that was when he came
Luke
back.
4 is the temptation in
But
Matthew
he
4.
was tempted in every way
Matthew
possible.
3.
Yeah. Yeah. But the temptation, the 40 days and the temptation.
Well, that's
was-
the only one that we know for sure that where
Yeah.
he was tempted, but he was tempted in it every which way.
Yeah. But even though it doesn't speak specifically of it in the Garden of Gethsemane,
Right.
it's safe to presume.
Yeah. I would
It
say
wasn't just that he had the opportunity of getting out of this. I'm sure he had an alternative on the table.
Yes.
Right.
That was much.
I would say that was the most opportune time.
Right.
And I'm sure there was a lot of different times along the way, had to be.
I think just the Pharisees tempted him. And I think every time someone tried to crown him king, that was a temptation for him.
Yeah.
I think any time where Jesus kind of, and I won't say it anytime or every time, but when Jesus has to say, no, it's not, it's this way, not that way, I think that might have been a temptation for him.
Yeah.
That the devil was trying to tempt him, whether it was a temptation for him or not, I don't know. But
And how strong it was.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I jotted down from that, you said they come all the other people following Jesus came with self-serving motives. It wasn't about Jesus, but it was about the food that he provided or about the gifts, the miracles, things like that. And I started thinking about the parallels between our earthly relationships that way. And if you've got kids, this is an obvious one. Your spouse, it can be the same way. But you know, I I I do things for the kids. I get things for the kids. They thank me for those things, and I'm glad. And I appreciate it when they thank me for the things that I give them. But you don't want to be in a relationship where the appreciation is for the things.
Just for
It's about the love that motivates the gifts. Jesus gives us things
Yeah.
out of his love.
Right.
It's that love you want to celebrate. You don't want to be with somebody, in a dating or a marriage relationship where you're with them because of the diamonds and the necklaces and the whatever else, or it should be about the love that motivates those gifts, not the gifts themselves. And that is what we do a lot with Jesus. Is it's self-serving.
Yeah.
Here's my problems, fix them.
Yep.
And then when you fix them, thank you,
Yep.
and we love you.
And how
But it
about
should be more about
how
the
about more?
right, right. But that's exactly, I think, how we are a lot of times. Is it's focused, and definitely how they were focused on the what he could give them rather than the love that motivated him to give it in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the whole thing of John 6 is, no, you seek me because you want the bread
Yeah.
and not the bread from heaven. I'm telling you, there's one here that is standing before you that is the bread of heaven, and they were just wanting, give us more.
Yeah.
Feed us again, and that's so human. That's just part of being human. At the same time, don't fall in love with the gifts, fall in love with the giver.
Mhm.
And don't even worry about the gifts because he's blessed us abundantly, more than we could ever think or imagine. Look at the giver and his graciousness and his mercy, and rather than I didn't get enough, because that's the old saying of the old man that I ran into an old friend the other day, and he was happy. He said, "Man, my uncle died and left me $1 million." Ran into him the next week, and he was still happy. And he said, "My aunt died on the other side, and she left me $3 million." Ran into him the next week, and he looked like he had lost his best friend. And I said, "Man, what in the world's wrong with you?" And he said, "Ain't no funerals this week." Because that's sometimes how we are is, "Oh, well, what's your next gift? What are you gonna give me next?" Versus, "No, God, you have let me know you, and you have saved me, you have redeemed me. That's enough." And then on top of that, good gracious, you bless us with so much more. So get back to the giver, not just a gift.
Well, I guess that's Santa Claus.
Yeah, we'll
We
to
look
him
at,
as a
or
holy
give me,
Santa
give me, give
Claus.
me. Yeah, go to the grocery store. I want this, want
Give me,
that.
give me, give me.
That's not real love.
No. If
But
I
he
love
will
you,
do
if I
that.
love you,
Uh,
for what you give me, then I'm in bad shape. Now,
Mm.
granted, he gave me eternal life, so that's a good
Mhm.
start for love there.
Well, even if that was it,
Yeah.
what would that is?
Should that be sufficient? Yes, it should be.
Yeah,
More than.
that your sins are forgiven. Isn't that enough? But we want, and I'm not saying all of us, but there are people, Christian people, that want a good car,
Yeah.
big house.
Well, and there's some that'll teach that that's part of Christianity.
Yes, and I know who you talk about. But
I didn't have anybody in mind there.
but I do. I mean, I know some of the
Yeah,
people
yeah,
you're talking about in
prosperity
general.
gospel.
But that's just stuff that's going to go back into the box. It's like the world's like a game of Monopoly. You go around doing all this stuff by
No, that's a good
accident,
illustration.
and then you die. It goes back into the box for someone else to sculpture.
Mm. That's
Pretty
good.
good.
I like that one.
Well, I don't think so.
Renee probably came up with it.
We're both, I don't know what's funnier. I mean, your reaction or mine and his reaction of, gosh, that was actually good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh man, finally,
Best-
I'm on the eighth. I'm on the
Best
18.
illustration yet, man.
Kenny got some wood on the ball.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
So
do you
let me write that down.
Yeah, you better write that down.
That's good.
Yeah. Added to that sermon,
But yeah, we were both sitting here like,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, you might go to jail every now and then, but yeah.
yeah.
Community
Community service.
so are we gonna have church Sunday?
And I hope so.
We got
It is not looking promising.
Well, I tell you,
It is not looking promising. We're looking at about 6 inches of snow. I'm telling you, I do not want to cancel at the same time. I'm not
Nigga.
going to be foolish.
you're gonna do another.
I am filming one this afternoon.
yeah. That was good last
I'm
week. That was a
filming a
cool
sermon
little
on this subject, and I wasn't sure where to go, so we're going to pick up right where we left off. We're going to go verses 25 through 32, and it's kind of lends itself to now it becomes practical practice because 25 through 32 tells us what to do and how to do it. So that's who we are in Christ. So now it's kind of a mini book of Ephesians.
Mm-hmm.
So
And it's
Yeah,
gonna
by
be
NI.
20 minutes, or was that what you said?
well,
Okay.
10 is what the Instagram and TikTok, as far as what we have an account, lets us do.
Well, okay.
So Facebook, I can talk all day, but the Instagram and the other stuff we have has 10 minutes. So I've got to try to pile it into 10 minutes. So I can't really go deep into it.
Could you do if you? I mean, because I'm sitting here as you're talking there thinking, well, you could do a full sermon 20. What your normal sermon is about 25 minutes.
Oh,
It
not
could
even
be.
that long.
Sometimes it don't know.
Depending on who
Depends on
you
who you
ask.
ask.
If you ask one person, they're gonna say, "Man, it's 40 minutes." You ask Teresa. Go in there and ask Teresa how long I preached the other Sunday. He was 45, 50 minutes, and I'm like, the longest I want to go is 35,
Okay.
and that is counting invitation and everything because I'm just
So-
that's way too much.
So I was going to say you could do a 30-minute version, put that on YouTube and Facebook, and then have Keaton or someone trim that down to a 10-minute version of that. But then the reason for saying that was ask a question. I don't know if it'd be the same.
Yeah.
If you're trying
No,
to, it's not really the
it's
same
not.
thing as preaching a sermon to just sit
you
there and
need
talk.
either write a 10-minute sermon or a 30-minute sermon to edit out. Sometimes you edit out something that probably shouldn't have been what you edited out. It's better
Well,
just to play around 10 minutes.
But even the preaching itself, I mean, if you're, I don't know I know when I'm doing videos how it goes, but for me, if I were to try to sit down, even if I know you don't write a script for your sermons, so you've got
The
notes.
video ones we do have
You do
kind
have a
of
script for that.
And,
So I mean, I don't know if it would be the same
I
delivery.
write,
I guess.
especially like I think about like I'm doing now, the major and the minors, or we're filming it now. It's going to come out very shortly, and we're looking at the minor prophets. I've done all the research, put together. Here's the key verses, and I have a script, and basically it's all the study I've done compiled into that.
Yeah.
Sermon in front of a camera like that, yeah. I've gone through that text, I've got the outline, but I do have a script, or a rough script.
Yeah.
It's not a word for word. Read it. No, it's here's a point. Here's
Okay.
a point. Here's a point.
Do you have to have retakes?
I hesitate to say this, but not
okay.
much.
Okay, I was just wondering if you had to go 2 hours to put out 10 minutes. Okay.
No,
Serious.
I think Keaton has been good about he helps edit out some of the stuff that if I like, doggone it, Keaton, I'm in the middle of it and I said the wrong thing. He said I can edit out, and you can see a little bit of a glitch, but it ain't much.
No, it's probably not enough for normal.
But there have been times when I've gotten tongue tied, or especially doing a
course.
video that you're just like, oh man, I said the wrong thing,
Yeah.
and he'll back that up and say, all right, let's start with. I mean, when we were doing some of the Kings, we might finish one king, and then I'd get wrong something on, and we'd go back. And he said, "All right, start where we left off with the first king, then we could go."
A good audio video man.
Well, he helps out in that. King does a good job in that because there are times when, let me tell you, he was going to make a blooper reel, and he's got enough that he could make about 5 blooper reels, and he wants to release it one Sunday morning.
Oh,
Just as a,
man, you might want to look at
just
that.
as well. And he told me, he said, "I'll let you look at it." And I said, "Man, I think it's kind of cool because there are I'll be like, nah, 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 nah," or I'll say something. And so he's got plenty, especially during VBS and other things that I was filming. My hardest thing is when I got to stand in front of him and we're just filming something that, all right, you're going to make an announcement about Easter, or say something just hey, hey, wishing you a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Y'all be safe out there. Cause I'll say something stupid.
Yeah.
I'll say, wishing y'all a happy Thanksgiving. And then I'll say something that it's like, okay, that don't make sense. Retake. So we'll take about 5 or 6.
Those are the hardest ones. The short clips,
Yes.
the ones that I do 100
But you want to make
times.
sure you get your wording right.
I was trying to do
I
it the
get
other
in
day.
trouble with those.
I was shooting something while we were doing it, and I was like, this would be a great time for me to plug this. And I waited for them to finish. I was like, while we're here, let me go ahead and plug this. And I went to go to plug it, and it was I knew 5 seconds into it, I was cutting it. I was like, I'm not redoing this, and we're just going to scrap this. It never happened.
No, we've got 2 things we're going to film today. And I'd be willing to say that the sermon that I'm going to do, 10, 15 minutes, we won't have to do but maybe 1 or 2 takes and maybe not have hopefully nothing. I got to do an announcement about what's going to take place up at the front of the church when we're doing the replacing the columns with the fencing. And so the next time you come to church, there's going to be the front of the church going to be fenced off. You can't come in through the front.
Oh,
you have to go in through the welcome center.
Okay.
And I'm going to make that announcement. I know that one's going to be a mess.
Yeah,
the welcome center up there.
the welcome center.
The columns.
Right.
So I got to make that announcement, and I know I'm going to mess that up about 18 times saying, I shouldn't have used that word, or, oh, gosh, no, that's not what's happening. So I'm looking forward to that.
That'd be fun.
Oh, yes.
I can't wait to see the outtakes reel sometime.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. He's going to make it.
All right. Well, I got to get out of here. I got to make
All
it a
right.
bit.
Y'all take
Thank
care.
y'all. See y'all.
We're going tomorrow afternoon or not?
Whispered. I can hear you. Camera or the thing can too. It's got a sensitive mic. Y'all, every time y'all fight this week, I got to edit. So be nice.
I've got my rain jacket for that too.
Mhm.
I don't just want to let you know.
Trust the Gordon.
And I also got the oil skins too.
We need to have a meme of that.
Yeah.
Gordon's fisherman.
So, but anyway, then I met Renee, and things changed. No, in a good way. In a good way.
Even Reese. I'd see. I wasn't gonna laugh at that until Reese laughed. Reese made me laugh at that.